Greetings everyone and welcome to Collector Corps. Today we're going to be looking at the Star Wars Galaxy of Adventure Ahsoka's Clone Trooper. Let's just get into it. And getting him out of the box, this is a surprisingly highly detailed figure. And sure, it's cartoony, it's not as detailed as, say, a Black Series figure, but honestly, the kind of details that they go into, like the little things on the wrist here, and just generally the detailing for the belt, stuff like that really stands out, as well as the helmet, of course. Very well detailed, has basically everything you'd want from this design for a clone trooper, and honestly, this is just a really nicely detailed figure. In fact, that is something that you very rarely see on Black Series, is the little panel at the back being painted, and sure, I missed out on some other details, but honestly, it makes up for it in just basically everything else. So, I guess jumping straight into the articulation, at the head, it's I don't really know what kind of joint. I think it might be a dumbbell, but I'm not completely sure. It does allow for rotation, but it is clicky, which is why I'm confused at what it actually is. You do get a little bit of down, not great. Decent amount of up, though, and then tilt is really high, so you can actually put him into an inquisitive look, which is really rare for this sort of figure. But yeah, I really like that. At the torso, we do have a waist swivel, which is always good, but at the same time, it's not exactly what you'd want, necessarily. You want a bit of a crouch, you want a bit of a crunch down. It's still alright. At the arm, you have out a little under 90, but still pretty good. You have all the way around. Then there is is that double? It does look like a double, but I think it's only a single elbow going to 90, or a little bit past maybe, it's hard to tell. And then at the wrist you have swivel. No hinge though on the wrist, which is kind of disappointing, especially when it's a gun-wielding hand, but we'll get to that with the accessories. Then at the legs we have out about 45, we have single knee a little bit past 90, pretty good. And then finally we have forward-facing pin for rocker. What is this? A Marvel Legends review. And then a back of that much. And then a forward of that much. It's pretty good overall. As for accessories, you do get an E11 blaster rifle, or blaster repeater, or whatever they actually call it within universe. I can never remember. I just know it's the clone blaster, and honestly, it looks really good. I could do with like a wash, or maybe some just slight paint detailing, but overall, I think it looks pretty good. The mold there is spot on, in my opinion. I think it works so well, and that, of course, just goes into the right hand of the clone trooper. If I can get it in, there we go. And, in fact, you can actually just rotate the other hand, and that's a pretty good neutral gun-holding pose. Like, that's actually pretty good. The stance is a bit awkward because of the legs, but yeah, that looks pretty good. For comparisons, we have the Disney Toy Box Carnage, which I quite like this height. I think this actually fits really well into Toy Box, just in general. The aesthetics are slightly off, but overall it has that same like cartooniness, and the height does actually work. Compared to a Black Series Stormtrooper, yeah, there's a bit of discrepancy there. I say that this is a little bit too short for a Stormtrooper. This is definitely a clone kid. And then finally we have a Playmobil figure and a old Hasbro. I think this is supposed to be 4-inch scale, I'm not completely sure, Pinhead Colossus. It doesn't really fall into a specific height as far as I can tell, specific like scale. But I mean, you can probably fudge it into a lot of different displays. But on that note, this is a really, really good figure that, in my experience, sells for really cheap. This is not gonna be something that you put in your Black Series necessarily, but if you're just generally wanting to build a clone army, this is a great choice. And if you're a fan of the Toy Box stuff, maybe you have Toy Box Maul or any of the other Star Wars characters which would fit with this, I say it's a good choice. I got this for £7 at Game, of all places, and I've seen it around 10 other places, so it's reasonably cheap, and overall, I think it's definitely worth it. But in any case, that's going to be it for this review. So thanks for watching. Like it if you did like it. Subscribe if you're new around here, and ring that bell so you never miss an upload. I try and get a review out every Tuesday and Friday, so if you ring that bell, you'll never miss out on those. But otherwise, that's it from me, and yeah. Bye!